Welcome to everyone here. We're very pleased to see you today. My name is Larry Chandler. I'm the director of the Plains area for the Agricultural Research Service, USDA, and I'm out of Fort Collins, Colorado. It's my pleasure to be here and have a small role in a very important activity that we're going to be involved in today. So I welcome you to Lincoln. I think most of you know that Lincoln is the capital of the state, right? And also home of the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. But what's new and going to be occurring with a lot of effort from all of you in the room and from us with ARS is that we're here to celebrate something very new in the new, UNL Innovation Campus. And the USDA Agricultural Research Service is working very hard to start a new facility here that's called the National Center for Resilience and you know what? I can say that and laugh because these really help. I was going to try to do it without. But for resilient and regenerative precision agriculture. So it's a pleasure to have all of you here really to participate in this important step in the continued very, very strong research collaboration that we have with UNL and ARS. Yeah, thank you for attending. We thank you for your support. And we're very, very happy that you're here. So I want to keep this short. We have a long set of very distinguished speakers to go through this morning, and it's very good to have that. But at this time, I am going to ask all of you to please stand, and we will have the colors and the national anthem. So the UNL faculty brass and percussion group is here to support. Thank you very much, folks. The national anthem will be sung by Elise Anderson. The colors will be presented by the Joint Color Guard of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, including Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force ROTC. So with that, wait for our folks to join us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Good morning. I want to thank you, Elise, for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem and members of our faculty. I'm Chris Kaborik. I had the great honor and pleasure of serving as the interim president of the University of Nebraska, and I want to welcome you to today's groundbreaking ceremony. You know, I look across this room and this packed house speaks for itself. This is clearly a big, big day, not just for the University of Nebraska, but for our entire state. And for a kid who grew up in a farming family in rural Nebraska, this is exciting on a personal level as well. And I want to thank all of you for being here, especially those who have traveled long distances to celebrate this enormous day with us. I do want to take a few moments just to introduce a few of our special guests. We are so pleased to be such an incredible partnership with our colleagues from the United States Department of Agriculture, Undersecretary Shavonda Jacobs-Young, and ARS Administrator Simon Liu. Thank you so much for being here. Please give me a big round of applause. Governor Pillen, probably the biggest cheerleader for Nebraska and Nebraska agriculture that I think you'll ever meet. So Governor Pillen, Lieutenant Governor Joe Kelly, thank you both for being here and all that you do for our state. Members of our federal delegation whose support has been critical and vital in getting us to this point. Senator Fisher, Congressman Flood, we would not be here today without your leadership and your advocacy. Senator Ricketts, Congressman Bacon, we are so grateful for your support as well. And even though Congressman Smith couldn't be with here today, we very much appreciate all his efforts as well. So please, big round of applause for Nebraska delegation. And we have a number of University of Nebraska and agriculture leaders from across the state who are also here with us. So pleased you could join us. I do want to point out members of the Board of Regents, Chairman Rob Schaefer from Beatrice, Vice Chairman Paul Kenny from Amherst, Regent Jack Stark from Omaha, Regent Tim Clare from Lincoln. And if I missed any other regents, my apologies. Thank you on behalf of the administration for all you do. And a special shout out to Dr. Jeff Gold. We all know him as the UNMC Chancellor, but in a few 55 days or so, he's going to be taking a new title as the next president of this great university. So Dr. Gold, thank you for being here. There's one thing that I know Dr. Gold and I are aligned on, and that the University of Nebraska is positioned to do great, great things going forward. And what we're celebrating today is proof of that. Proof that when we are aligned on a shared vision, we can do big, big things. And that's the Nebraska way. As a proud, lifelong Nebraskan, I've seen it again and again. What is possible when we roll up our sleeves and we work together. And with this new facility, we are going to keep Nebraska in the driver's seat in an area that matters to our state and to people around the world. Agriculture has always been and will always be at the heart of the work and the mission of the University of Nebraska. So when we talk about our vision for the university to go compete with the best of the best, ag is central to that vision. This is the most important industry in our state and one of the primary ways in which the University of Nebraska engages with Nebraskans. And in the 155 plus years since the university was established, the importance, the complexity, and the urgency around our work in agriculture has only grown. Today, it is more important than ever that we stay on the cutting edge in developing new and innovative ways to feed more people around the world with our precious natural resources. Nebraska is the place where those solutions will be developed. Congratulations, and thank you again to all whose hard work has brought us to this point. Today represents a remarkable opportunity for our 50,000 students, our faculty, our partners, and the long-term growth and competitiveness of our state. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the Chancellor of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Dr. Rodney Bennett.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is such an honor and a privilege for me to be here this morning and to be with each of you. The Office of the Chancellor prepared remarks for me this morning, but with such a distinguished group here, I almost feel like I ought to abandon these remarks and just start asking for a bunch of stuff from all the people who are here. I mean, how often is it that you get such a distinguished group of people at the university at one time centered around a common cause? But I think I'll just stick with my 3 minutes and then take my seat. But it is such a great day for the university, for Lincoln, for all of us who have devoted our lives to public higher education, and it is an honor for me to have the privilege to serve as Chancellor of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. As we prepare to break ground this morning, I cannot help but reflect on the historic nature of this project. This National Center is the culmination of a valued 100-plus year partnership between the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Nebraska's Big Ten Research University, and the United States Department of Agriculture. Working together, our research teams have discovered and developed groundbreaking solutions that have benefited generations of our farmers, ranchers, and food manufacturers. The complex problems we face today in the ag industry require unprecedented levels of collaboration to overcome. This facility will help us achieve that goal, aligning resources and magnifying impressive impacts on agriculture nationwide. It will be home to world-leading research and development in areas critical to the future of agriculture. It will produce technologies we have yet to imagine and precision ag techniques that optimize resources, maximize yields, and reduce impacts on the environment. Construction begins today on the facility's state-of-the-art greenhouse. Once fully completed, this National Center will become the model for excellence in ag-focused innovation. This project would not be a reality without critical support from every member of Nebraska's federal delegation. We are especially appreciative of Senator Deb Fischer for championing the project with her colleagues on the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee, and for Congressman Mike Flood's support in the U.S. House of Representatives. This critical support will fuel innovation and grow the number of high-wage, high-skill, and in-demand jobs needed for Nebraska's most important industry. Much work lies ahead of us, including the chance to really dig in, as we did just ceremonially this morning. I'm excited and committed to seeing that we maintain momentum through the next phase of this project. With our continued determination, collaboration, and perseverance, we will most certainly achieve the groundbreaking vision for this national center. It is now my honor and my privilege to introduce our governor, the 41st governor of the great state of Nebraska, Governor Jim Pillen. As the governor makes his way to the podium, the governor is an alumnus of the University of Nebraska and a tireless advocate for agriculture. The governor and I have enjoyed a very special interaction for, I guess, approaching about 8 or 9 years now. And we don't have time today to tell you about that interaction, but the governor and I go way back, and we're very close and very special friends, and I appreciate that relationship with him and doing the work that we need to do to advance public higher education across the state of Nebraska. So if you would now please join me in welcoming to the podium the 41st governor of the state of Nebraska, Governor Jim Pillen. Thank you, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Well, good morning. Hey, this reminds me of Memorial Stadium, a packed standing room only house. Must be selling tickets for a lot of money outside to get in. I'll be very brief. It's hard. The first governor in the state of Nebraska from agriculture in 100 years. Hard for me to keep it to 3 minutes, but I'll be very high value. The thing that is most important and why this is going to be the best investment for the taxpayers and for the country is because of the people in Nebraska. The innovation, the grit, determination, never give up to make extraordinary things happen. We need to just brag a little bit about how agriculture has changed in my lifetime. As I like to say, 100 miles west of Platte Center, before irrigation, we couldn't raise 50 bushel corn. Many years we had nothing. And the evolution of irrigation. Does everybody realize we have the pot of gold, the Ogallala Aquifer, that is the largest underground, most sustainable reservoir in the Western Hemisphere, And that takes us to why today Nebraska is the Corn Belt of the world. Nebraska, because of the innovation and because of how we use our water, we raise more per acre than anywhere in the world. And oh, by the way, when we talk about clean energy and making things better and better for future generations, Nebraska farmers were the first to go away from fossil fuels as we changed our diesel engines, taking up water, to electricity. Why did we do that? Because it was good business. And that takes me to maybe the last piece is our future. The future of agriculture is extraordinary. We need to remember in Nebraska, we feed the world and we save the planet doing it. We feed the world and we save the planet in agriculture. Cattle is king. We are now the largest in the world in feeding cattle. We sell our product all over the world. And it's key to energy independence because our cattle are a key component in making sure the ethanol industry is viable because you have to consume the byproduct, which takes me to the next piece, the extraordinary new economy, the new bioeconomy. Just remember, Nebraska is the epicenter of the new bioeconomy. The renewable fuels policy was extraordinary. The new bioeconomy would be 5 times for the state of Nebraska. It's going to be awesome for the state of Nebraska, but more importantly, it will be incredible for the country and it will save the planet. Gigantic. So with that, I can't say thank you enough to Senator Fisher for your work to bring this bacon home, to have this extraordinary facility here. The research, if you think about it, since I've been out of college, federal funding for agriculture research has stayed flat, which means, we're 2% a year. I mean, we are, so this investment, we're really, really grateful. It's a big deal. The new bioeconomy will be so significant for rural economic revitalization and making sure that every family in agriculture becomes profitable, that we can do away with exporting our corn, finishing products here, and get out of the commodity business. So those are big deals. So Senator Fisher, this investment, and Congressman Flood, this investment is a game changer for Nebraska. Can't thank the university enough for the investment, to partner, and Senator Clemens and everybody in the unicameral for the investment to expand on the journey, and then our partnership with Clay Center. It's a big deal. Remember, together we can, together we will, together we win. God bless you all for being here today. Thank you.
Looked at the agenda, so I know I'm next up. Congratulations to the University of Nebraska and the state of Nebraska. And I want to thank the Department of Agriculture and the ARS for investing in this and making this reality. When I was first elected in 2016, but before I was sworn in, a guy named by Walter Scott, some of you may have heard of him, he called me and says, Don, I'd like to talk to you. So I went over to his office. He says, come on in. I sat down. He goes, got one thing for you. You are now the champion for the University of Nebraska. You got that? I go, yes, that's all I got. Go ahead and go. That's a true story. And I take it to heart, though. I've wanted to be, I know how important University of Nebraska is to our state in so many different ways. You could do a whole hour speech on that and its own right. So we like being a champion for this great school. Now, I'm on the department or the agriculture committee, which I love being on. And we're going to pass a farm bill in 2 weeks out of committee. The priorities are affordable crop insurance, trade, and research. And I've been more the vocal guy in the research part of that within the committee. This is how we solve foot and mouth disease. This is how we will solve African swine fever. You can just see it in the precision ag. In the 1930s, we had 35 bushel an acre for corn. Today, I just looked it up, the average is 185 bushel an acre. And we know in Nebraska, there's many areas way over that, 220, 230, and so forth. But think of that 90 years, going from 35 bushel an acre to 185. And we see it. I just went to where they sell sprayers. I was going to say the name of the company, but look at the sprayers. They have 7 filters on them now. They won't spray where there's no weeds, but they'll pick out the right weed and put the right application on it, which means less than half is put out there. You see it in our pivot irrigation, where you could turn it on in your living room, and one part of the field will get more water where it's needed, and where it's the other parts of the field that doesn't need it as much, it won't get. I mean, it's just incredible where we're going. And I see it in my own life. I was raised on a farm, and when I would plant the rows were very wavy. I got critiqued all the time. Today, those rows are straight with GPS. So I'll close with this. Our vision is that the University of Nebraska will be the flagship for our nation's research, whether it's defense or whether it's agriculture. That's our goal, being the flagship for research in America. Thank you. Got Mike Flood up next.
Don and I have to get to Washington after this, so I'll be taking the bacon with me back to DC. So if we have to leave a little early, I actually have a bill up later today, so I'm in front of the Rules Committee at 4 o'clock Eastern. So, hey, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. When Senator Fisher and I were in the legislature, I was in my second year as Speaker of the legislature, when then University President J.B. Milliken and then UNL Chancellor Harvey Perlman and Ton Ostergaard came into my office as Speaker and said, we want to move the state fair. And I was like, where? We want to build a research innovation campus. They had just returned from the Research Triangle in North Carolina. And they had a vision and a passion for what could happen here in Lincoln at the University of Nebraska, creating high-skill, high-wage research jobs, spinning off products that will create wealth. All of that appealed to that legislature. And it was one of the toughest years I had in the State House, along with Senator Fisher. But it is so rewarding to be here today and being able to work alongside Phil Erdman, who, by the way, is in the audience today. He passed the bill that moved the state fair to Grand Island. And today, being part of the process to get money appropriated for this research is very, very, very fulfilling. And much credit goes to my friend and mentee, Senator Fisher, who, bad chance, she said, who did a lot of heavy lifting in the U.S. Senate to get here. I'm pleased to say the House Appropriations Ag Committee, thanks to my predecessor, Congressman Fortenberry, was well informed on this project, and we were able to continue the funding and turn the spigot back on so that we could make sure this happens today. A couple things you need to know. According to a GAO report, Nebraska is number 2 in the country in adopting precision ag by our ag producers. That sells right there. Number two, the city of Lincoln is a collaborative place where researchers will thrive. Their families will love it here. And to the USDA and to the ARS, you couldn't pick a better city in America with a city that wants to and is growing and looking for ways to expand our research efforts. And finally, I want to say to Senator Ricketts and Congressman Bacon and Senator Fisher, it is a pleasure, and Congressman Smith, it's a pleasure to work with this delegation. We sit down often. We obviously have the Nebraska breakfast, but we sat down last December and we all talked about our priorities. I've rated this project #1 in my office as it relates to appropriations requests. Obviously, Senator Fisher has. Without my leadership, well, I got to give her a hard time. In all reality, Senator Fisher is a statewide gem. She is on the Appropriations Committee. She's in her 12th year. She's on her way to 18, and she sits at a very prime spot to make things like this happen. And so we should all really appreciate that we have a U.S. Senator that's put herself in such a dynamic place to help deliver things like this. And so with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Senator Pete Ricketts, who, if you don't know how much he likes meat, I'm going to give you a quick story. At our delegation dinner in December, we all ordered, I ordered the 12-ounce signature cut of prime rib. He ordered the 21-ounce bone-in prime rib. He ate the whole thing, and he was scraping the meat sinew off the bone at the end of the meal. So I understand you're going to the Meat Research Center later today? Oh, that's Senator Fisher. Okay. Somebody needs to name a building after Senator Ricketts down in Mead, Nebraska, because he is a carnivore of the first order. With that, Senator Ricketts.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. I am thrilled to be here for the groundbreaking for the USDA ARS National Center for Resilient and Resurgent Precision Agriculture. That's a little applause line. Come on, that's a good deal. Right? Very exciting we're here. But I'm just going to get this out of the way now. USDA, graded agriculture. Marketing, that's a long name. It's a mouthful. Even Dr. Chandler stumbled over it. We got to come up with some snappy acronym. But the point is, we are here at a historic day for the investment in our state's #1 industry. Agriculture is the heart and soul of what we do here in the state of Nebraska. Drives our economy. 25% of the jobs in Nebraska are tied to agriculture. And that's why it's absolutely appropriate that this investment is being made here in Nebraska, because this is what we do. This is what we're really good at. And it's incredibly important as well for not just our state and for the city of Lincoln, as Mike was talking about, but for our entire country. Food security is national security. And we've got to feed a growing state, nation, and world. And if you think about the heartland, 7 states like North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Minnesota, we produce 30% of all the agricultural production in this country. We're responsible for over half the corn and soybeans, 44% of the wheat, 60% of the hogs, 40% of the cattle. Texas. They get a big part of that. And we need to continue to invest to be able to get the productivity that is going to be required to feed our nation. Don and I got a little running joke. If I get to go first, I usually steal some of his remarks. If he gets to go first, he steals some of mine. I was going to hit upon some of those stats with regard to what we've done with regard to irrigated farmland, specifically around corn. 50 years ago, that was my stat. Don went back to the 30s. 50 years ago, though, it was 105 bushels the acre. In 2002, 152. And actually last year, according to the USDA, it was 182 bushels per acre. He rounded up. That's the kind of continuing productivity we need to see. And when we think about what does the USDA do, they are responsible. The federal government does 2/3 of all the funding for public agricultural R&D. But who does that research? 70% of that research is done at land-grant universities like the University of Nebraska. The rest is done by the USDA, ARS, ERS, and Forest Service. So this is really the perfect marrying of organizations that are designed to do just what we're talking about here. Invest in precision agriculture. Invest in that productivity that will allow us to continue to feed and fuel a growing world. That's what our farmers and ranchers do. They're the best at it. This is a perfect fit. You want to make your investments with your top people. That's what's going on here today. So I'm incredibly excited to be here, to be able to help break the ground on this. I'm excited to see what the University of Nebraska is going to be able to do with this investment, how we're going to continue to be a leader here in Nebraska. Again, this is what we do. This is Nebraska way, to work together to be able to create more value for our state, our nation, and our country. And with that, I'm going to now bring up our senior senator here in the state of Nebraska, and I will actually compliment exactly what Mike Flood was saying. We're very fortunate to have somebody like Deb Fischer in the U.S. Senate. She did a fantastic job for us when she was in the legislature. She's doing a fantastic job for us in the U.S. Senate. She's been a great coach and mentor to me as I've made the transition from governor into the U.S. Senate. Please welcome up Deb Fischer.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to Nebraska, Madam Undersecretary, Administrator. It's wonderful to have you here. I thank the university for hosting this, our interim president, Chancellor Bennett, who's a rock star. Thank you all members of the university, administration, and staff who are here. Governor Pillen, always a pleasure to see you. He talks about hogs, I talk about cattle. You're getting better at it. You're getting better. You're getting better. To be here with my friends on the delegation, federal delegation, and to have my good friend and colleague, Mike Flood, who worked on this in the House, and to have our delegation is a good group working together. We talk a lot and we try and promote each other's priorities, which is really, really easy when our first priority for all of us is, of course, Nebraska and keeping our country safe. And that does include food security. So it's wonderful to be here with you all today. And I am Flood's mentor. This groundbreaking marks the beginning of an initiative that is going to expand the frontiers of agriculture. And today we celebrate the great work of UNL and USDA that have already done on research. And we look forward to the breakthroughs that they will make in the future because of this funding that we're here to recognize today. Nebraska is a world leader in agriculture. Our farmers and ranchers, they feed and they fuel the world. The USDA's Census of Agriculture, released in February, found that the value of Nebraska agriculture production is around $31 billion. 1 in 4 jobs in Nebraska is related to agriculture, and there are 44,000 farms and ranches across our state. Precision ag technology, well, that's our new frontier. It's going to lower our input cost, and it's going to produce more with less. This tech is sustainable and it's efficient, and it brings more economic returns to every producer here in our state. And this new facility, this new ARS facility, well, it is going to push the boundaries of ag research, and it is also going to develop precision ag tools even further. I can't even imagine what we're going to see come out of this facility in conjunction with our community colleges, with our state colleges. Think of all the cool things that we can't begin to think about in this day, but we will in a year, in 5 years, and in 10 years. The work of this center is going to improve our producers' economic stability, which means it's going to improve the stability of the state of Nebraska. It will improve the lives of families, and it will improve the lives of families that feed and fuel this world in Nebraska, across our country, and all across the world. So congratulations on Nebraska receiving this designation. I look forward to working with our friends at USDA and at ARS in the future. And I thank you all for your interest, your commitment to this state. Thank you. And it is my pleasure to welcome our administrator of ARS, Administrator Liu, to the state of Nebraska. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Senator Fisher. Good morning, everybody. It's so great to have all of you here. My name is Simon Liu. I am the administrator for Agricultural Research Service. Agricultural Research Service is USDA's chief research agency with more than 8,000 people, including 2,000 plus PhD research scientists. They are conducting the research at 95 locations around the country. So our mission is very simple: to provide the scientific solution to address agricultural issues that impact American people every day from field to table. So I'm so happy to be here. On behalf of ARS, I'd like to welcome all of you here. Thank you for your participation for this very, very special event. I extend my hearty greetings to Senator Fisher, Senator Rickett, Congressman Bacon, Congressman Flood, and also Governor Pillen, Lieutenant Governor, for all your support. Thank you very much for your support that make our research advance to better serve the people of the Nebraska. So I'd like to also thank all the elected officials over here from the great state of Nebraska. Thank you for your support. And this project would not be possible. We would not be having a groundbreaking today without all your leadership and support. Thank you very much for that. So I also would like to express my gratitude to university leadership team here, the president, the chancellor, the vice president, the dean, all of you here, and more importantly, the partners and people here working with us. And really, I know you are the best. I mentioned earlier that we have 95 research locations around the country. This is the #1 research investment we have here. So for the university leadership, you are truly, truly amazing. You have been with us every step of the way that led to today's groundbreaking. Thank you so much for that. So I'm also pleased to see the leader from USDA. We are especially honored to have our Undersecretary, Dr. Jacob Young, with us today. Dr. Jacob Young, thank you very much for your leadership for the department and also for your constant support of our agency. Thank you. And my special thanks to area directors, location here, the coordinator, the research leaders, and all our research colleagues here. So I know today is a long time coming. I'm sure that your dedication and your professionalism drive us here today. Thank you so much. We are so very proud of the pivotal role you play, as Senator saying, to reduce the input cost, to increase the production, and then to preserve the natural resources for our future generation. Thank you so very much. So with this new facility, we'll continue to expand our research so that we can address the challenge that face the people, the producer, the farmers, the rancher, producer, consumer here in the great state of Nebraska. Thank you for that. And we also like to strengthen our collaboration with the university here, and we enjoy a long time of collaboration. This collaboration only continue to expand. Thank you. And by the way, our collaboration not only limited here in Lincoln, but also in Clay Center and the Meat Animal Research Center. I'm very grateful that Senator Fisher will be going with us to the Clay Center this afternoon. So we are anxious to show you the kind of research we have done there to improve not only the animal health, animal productions, and also the animal welfare. So with that, I'd like to introduce our Undersecretary. Undersecretary Jacob Xiong, we all know how much of your time and energy has been invested in this #1 investment project we have within ARS. Thank you very much for your support. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome our Undersecretary. Thank you.
I had no idea how many people were actually in this room. Well, to all of our distinguished guests, to everyone in this room, good morning. Today is a good day. Well, every day is a good day when I have a chance to do what I love. I feel so lucky that I get to get up every morning and say to myself, self, today I am going to work to feed the world. I know many of you are motivated by this same immense charge. The responsibility that we all face is daunting. The challenges facing us in agriculture are many and complex. The global population is expected to exceed 9 billion by 2050. That's 2 billion more mouths to feed, clothe, fuel to provide. We'll need almost 70% more food, 30% more water, and over 50% more energy production. And we are constantly fighting to protect agriculture against new and emerging pests and diseases that can result in billions of dollars of losses to production. And I don't need to tell you that in Nebraska. And we're thriving to educate Americans about making health-promoting lifestyle choices to improve the quality of their lives, using the nutrition guidance that we provide to live longer, high-quality lives. And we're doing all of this against the backdrop of climate change and the critical need to preserve our nation's natural resources. So we need all hands on deck, so I'm so happy to see so many people in this room today. We need everyone working together to develop creative, sustainable, and strategic plans to help us feed the future. As it's already been said, food security, nutrition security is national security. And that's what we do. That's what we've done together, USDA and University of Nebraska. We've worked to meet the challenges before us. Yet agriculture research often receives little publicity. But we reap the benefits of it every day. The U.S. has a proven record of making investments in research that pay off for farmers and our economy. Partially because of these investments, between 1948, I have a little facts of my own. I have this special agency called the National Agricultural Statistics Service that arms me with a lot of rich data. Partially because of these investments, between 1948 and 2019, total ag production output in the United States grew by 142%. We heard a little bit of that about the bushels that have been increasing every year here in Nebraska. Yet that rise cannot be attributed to increases in agricultural land or labor, because both of those variables declined over that same period of time. Instead, the rise stems from an adoption of wide-ranging series of publicly funded innovations in crop and animal science, nutrition use, pest management, and farm and field management. These new practices have yielded significant dividends. USDA's Economic Research Service, another wonderful agency in REE, found that public agriculture research and development investments, that's public as in land grant and federal investment, from 1900 to 2011 generated on average $20 in benefit to the United States economy for every $1 of spending. Quite the return on investment. However, we all know that once the world's leader in public investments, the United States now trails other countries. We've declined by a third in the past 2 decades. Let that sink in. This loss of investment firepower means that we are potentially missing opportunities to capitalize on the potential of our world-class scientists to conduct the type of research necessary to meet the rapidly emerging challenges our farmers and consumers face. The United States, through USDA, in collaboration with our partners, can once again lead the world in discovering and disseminating solutions to global agriculture and natural resource problems through responsive, transdisciplinary, and convergent research like that will happen here in this new facility. That's why I'm pleased that President Biden, Secretary Vilsack, and our congressional partners remain committed to supporting federal agriculture research, development, and deployment, which will shape and define innovation for decades to come. And I know that I don't need to tell this audience how important it is that we equip our scientists with the best. And I want to say just here publicly, I feel extremely lucky as a scientist in USDA for over 2 decades, now as undersecretary, for the level of support we've received from Congress. I'm so fortunate to have bipartisan support. We all can get behind the hearty mission of feeding people and protecting our natural resources. So I want to say thank you to the Nebraska the delegation for everything you've done to support USDA, our scientists, and all of our land grant partners. I want to be sure to say that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And today is an example of that support. We know that I talked to Chancellor just a little bit earlier today. With ARS, we have about $6 billion worth of buildings. Deferred maintenance about, what is it now, Simon? $1 billion in deferred maintenance. There's a significant need across our land grant system, across our federal laboratories for improvements in our facilities. Today is special because we know that cutting-edge science must take place in state-of-the-art facilities. The solutions to our current agriculture priorities can only be accomplished by addressing ag's infrastructure challenges. We in USDA are grateful that since 2012, Congress has appropriated funds for 27 buildings and facilities projects in ARS. Thank you. And we still have 91 pending. I'm like the Chancellor today, this is an opportunity. So I am so pleased that today we are making the beginning of this modern investment in USDA ARS facilities at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. The National Center for Resilient and Regenerative Precision Agriculture, I agree. This is not like the federal government. We normally have wonderful acronyms, and so we got to figure out what we're going to do here. So Sharon, get on that. Dr. Drum is our best acronym producer. So this facility is a collaborative initiative that aligns with the USDA science and research strategy to drive science innovation and enhance agriculture production in the modern era. If Secretary Vilsack were here, he would tell you that it's not only important that we improve productivity for our producers, have our producers be more sustainable, but there are also multiple opportunities to have our producers be more profitable. And that's all producers, small, mid-sized, large producers. The bioeconomy is an amazing example of how we can increase revenue streams for producers. So this long history that we have of collaboration between ARS and UNL is typical of USDA and the land-grant system. In fact, a third of our laboratories are located on land-grant university campuses. So we have a very tight partnership. It's often difficult for people to tell who works for USDA and who works for the university. We enjoy that partnership. So updated facilities ensures that our best and brightest scientists work in the innovation enabling environments with the tools they need to successfully meet the challenges that agriculture faces. The collaborative partnership between USDA ARS, UNL, and our industry and nonprofit stakeholders remain key to developing technologies imperative too. Breeding climate-smart resilient crops, strengthening our soil health, improving livestock pest management, enhancing agricultural sustainability, and developing the next generation of data and computer science tools that provide innovative agricultural solutions. And might I add, developing the next generation of agricultural professionals. We know that the average age of farmers from the latest 2022 Census of Agriculture is 58.1 years old, with a large portion of those producers over the age of 65. Now, that doesn't sound that old to me as someone who's fallen in that age bracket. But we have an imperative to ensure that we're training the next generation. So University of Nebraska, we need your help. We recently invested $262.5 million in From Learning to Leading. And that investment through the Inflation Reduction Act, I thank you, will touch 20,000 students. We want to do our part in supporting the universities and training the next generation of scientists who need to work in modernized facilities with high-tech equipment. So the work done here at UNL is key to agricultural success in the future. The people here, all of you, are key to the success. And it is incumbent on the rest of us to provide you with the most modernized facilities and state-of-the-art equipment possible. So thank you for all you do each day towards that end and ultimately towards feeding the world and protecting our natural resources. Congratulations. I'm delighted to be here with you to celebrate. Thank you.
Undersecretary, thank you so much for your awesome and inspiring words, and thanks for being here. Administrator Liu, thanks very much. And I see that Congressman Flood took Congressman Bacon as he promised there on the plane. You said today is a good day, and you talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. They know it. This is an amazing day. I'm so humbled to be here. 30 years ago, almost to the day, I was a USDA ARS postdoc in Corvallis, Oregon. No kidding. So pretty cool. It's hard for me to think about this day without reflecting a little bit on history. 1862, Abraham Lincoln, right? The Morrill Act gets signed into law, creating what? But the land-grant university system. 1862, also the year the U.S. Department of Agriculture was created. And here we are, all these years later, talking about and living an authentic partnership that several of the speakers spoke to. I think Simon spoke to this long-standing relationship. 95 locations the USDA ARS has across the country. According to the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities, there's 114 land-grant universities and colleges across the country. And that's great, but there's only one Nebraska, and there's 120 years of partnership between ARS, USDA, ARS came on a little bit later, and this land-grant university. It's authentic. Irv, it's authentic. It's special. Governor, there is no place like Nebraska, and it's because of the people. The authenticity of our relationship between ARS, where's Larry? Thank you, Larry. It's great to be a partner of yours locally. And the university is really special. There are lots and lots of neat relationships. between USDA, ARS, and universities. I've experienced 2 other locations, but the authenticity of this partnership is really off the charts, and I think it's palpable. And so it's with that humility that I come before you and try to bring this to a close, and then we'll go out and throw some soil. Martha, soil. I think this might be dirt, but we'll throw some soil. It takes a village, and like Larry, I get to play a small part in this. There are so many, countless people that have been a part of this. This project would not be possible without the support of the university leadership and our Board of Regents, without question. Rob, as chair of the board, thank you to you and the other 3 regents. Senator Clements, the unicameral. Governor, the executive branch, former governor, LB 703, which the unicameral appropriated $25 million for a companion facility that we're not here to talk about today. $25 million of state funding with, when it's all in, about $140 million of federally appropriated funds. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Senator Fisher. I'm learning about what it's like to work with an amazing appropriator, and your staff. Craig's here. Where's Craig? Thank you, Craig Bruning. Amazing staff. It takes a village. I think the other side that I'd like to call out is that in the region, and the governor talked about this, and the senator talked about it, when you look at just the 7 states around us, from Ames to Fort Collins, from Fargo to Manhattan, the ARS facilities that are located here in the heartland are incredible, from nutrition to foreign disease animals to data, big data. And when you think about the power and the prowess, again, of the land-grant universities that call this region home, the combination is just amazingly cool for, I think, what I heard, broadening and addressing our new frontier. So I'll sum this up by saying, I think there is no place like Nebraska, but I think what happens next in ag innovation, our new frontier, happens first in America. And what happens first in America, related to the resilience and the regenerative nature of agriculture and our bioeconomy, begins right here in Nebraska. And with that, I thank everyone who's a part of this amazing journey, especially the farmers and the ranchers and the food processors that are in the audience. Let's go break some ground, and then we'll grab some refreshments. Thank you very much for being here.
All right, 3, 2,